And Yahweh said to Cain, why are you wroth, and why is your face fallen? If you do well, is there not acceptance? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should master it. Okay, let's see what this is talking about. First of all, the brothers bring an offering to Yahweh. But the word sin is brought in there. What is sin? 1 John 3:4 says that sin is transgression of the law. Sin is Torahlessness. Okay, in case you want to make sure about that, let's just go to 1 John 3 just for a second. And in verse 4 it says, everyone doing sin also does lawlessness, and sin is lawlessness, Torahlessness, breaking the law. So if we're told that if you do well, you'll be accepted, and if you do not, sin is at the door, this must have been a Torah issue. In other words, they weren't just randomly out of their heart giving an offering. So my speculation is that this was tithing, because it was something they would have been instructed. This wasn't a free will offering. Because if it was a free will offering is allowed to be anything. You have free will to give whatever you want to give. You know, we have that kind of an offering in Deuteronomy 16, 16, and 17, which says 3 times a year, all the males are supposed to come before me, and you don't come empty-handed, and you give an offering, and the offering is based on how you've been blessed. You give as you've been blessed. Remember, I talked about tithing and offerings, everything is about appreciating your blessings. All the financial stuff is showing and demonstrating how much you appreciate the blessings you have. So I don't believe, and I don't think anybody's taught this that I've heard, and maybe other people have taught this, but I've never taught this. I don't believe that this was just an offering and doing it in a bad way. I think this is tithing. And I think that this is a Torah issue, and they knew exactly the instruction was there. Otherwise, the word sin could not be involved, because sin is a transgression of the law. So I believe that both Cain and Hevel both knew what they were expected to do. Now notice it says that Hevel gave of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat, where it just says that Cain brought some fruit. It doesn't say he brought the first fruit or the best fruit. It just brought some fruit. And so Yahweh said to him, again, this is like a parent with 2 children. And he said, look, if you do it right, won't I be proud of you too? Now that implies that the kid actually knew what was right. You see what we're talking about here? I mean, it was clear, at least it should be, that Yahweh, in talking to the brothers, he's saying, look, I instructed you. You had the instruction. You knew the right way to do this. Cain, he says, you didn't do it right. Your brother did it right. So why are you all upset? Do it right, and I'll be proud of you too. See, but this is the self-sovereign stuff. You know, this is where we fall into the big, big trap. We think Yahweh should accept what we do because we think he should, because I did it for him. Isn't that what was going on here? Cain said, but I brought you what I wanted to bring you. And Yahweh said, that was all well and good, but that's not what you were instructed to do. So you can't spin it and just do it your way. You have to do it the way he said to do it. Doing it your way does not work. Not in his eyes anyway. But people love to spin things. I like when people come up to you and say they're doing this, that, and the other thing, and I tell them, I don't know if that's a good idea. And they go, well, I'm sure Yahweh will be okay with it. Don't you think that's kind of what Cain was doing here? I'm sure Yahweh will be okay with it. I'm bringing him an offering. I got fruit and stuff, and I'm going to make an offering. I didn't give him the best stuff. I didn't give him the first. I didn't give him the tithe. I didn't follow instructions, but I did, it's close. It's the way I wanted to do it instead of the way he said to do it. But do we keep the Sabbath that way? Do we keep all the Torah laws that way? Are we making any mistakes where we're doing it the way I want to do it versus the way he says to do it? Is the I getting in the way? If your eye offends you, pluck it out. It causes you to sin. Maybe it's the I, capital letter I, not the E-Y-E. Okay, if your eye causes you to stumble. I don't think I've ever said that before. I like that. Okay? If your eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out. Yeah, pluck yourself off the throne and get out of the way. Come on, See, we never know where we're going to go once I start talking. Okay. Okay, so I think that this is the first mention of tithing. I think that's what's going on here. I think that they knew, they were instructed. Otherwise, you would not have Yahweh say, if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. If you do your own thing, your own way, then you're sinning right there. And you could be in a place called sin, meaning that this is a status now. It's not just a choice you made once, now you're going to be walking in it as a habitual behavior. And its desire is for you, but you should master it. You should have mastery over, he said its desire is for you. In other words, your desire is to do your way, your thing, it's you. It's right there. He says its desire is for you, but you should master what? It, which is what? You. Get some mastery over you. Get a hold of yourself, get control over yourself, and submit yourself under him.